Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. Okay, so obviously we have our tea leaves out already. They they could not wait for you to get here. They had to go ahead and already start telling their stories. So let's go ahead and look at those. We're going to interpret some things. We're going to ramble, probably go down a couple asides, corridors, what have you. All right, so the first one I really want to look at is right up here. We have what looks like a person's head, their body, their legs. We have another person standing here. Here's the head, here's the body, holding up what looks like, I almost want to say it's a 3. It does look like a 3. Now, up here, it looks like we have a moon in the crescent position. We also have the number 2. Okay, so uh, immediately I have to say it speaks to me in a kind of moving things along, right? Um, Having somebody that, for one reason or another, has come into a situation and has proven to be pretty helpful, right? You may be, and I think it might get loud here. I just started. We have a plane going overhead. I think somebody is. Now I'm in the middle of nowhere, okay? Uh, I think somebody is practicing flying. Um, you might hear it. It's really an interesting. It's one of those planes that can land on water, with the kind of like boat, whatever the boat landing strippy thingies on the. I don't know what they're called, but anyways, I'm out in the middle of nowhere in an area that has lakes. I mean, lots of lakes. Okay. And so I don't know if they're just practicing or what they're doing, but they've come around in loops throughout the day. I apologize for the noise. I can't really, we're just going to get back to it. So we have these two people working in unison, right? Beneath the moon, too, the crescent moon. It feels like that makes sense. I think we're, as we speak, in the last quarter of the moon. She is emptying herself and going a bit dark, right? And so uh, we have this feeling of, I think it was like stuckness, like getting into something, beginning a project, taking on a new responsibility, playing a new role in your life. And maybe it was you, it might have been a little bit more complex than you had anticipated, right? Um, and you find yourself, yeah, you did the first step and maybe you were feeling really good. You got the thing going, or you were conceiving of the thing, starting to, get out there and get the resources and the variables, the different tools and material, whatever it was, physical world, self work. Maybe I don't know, maybe you took on a new role at work. I kind of I kind of get the inkling that it is. Here's the thing. When we're talking about this, it feels like I want to stop breathing. Like I'm holding my breath. It's an anxiety that is very much tied to your sense of worth. I don't like saying that out loud because I don't ever want to think I can endeavor in knowing what causes somebody to feel of value, right? Because it's different for all of us. And sometimes, it's real good stuff, and sometimes, baby, it is some real bad stuff. And everywhere in between, okay? Um, But the feeling I get is there is a sense of, I don't know, shame, maybe regret, maybe, you really got in there, popped off, puffed up your chest, and said, yeah, I can do that. Let me roll up my sleeves. Let me show everybody. Hold this. Um, I say this because this is what I sound like. and, um, and we get in there, right? We start working on the thing. I'm having a little coffee here. And, it does not necessarily, it doesn't start out the worst. It's not the worst. Actually, maybe it starts out pretty good, you know? You read, you studied, you retained those first initial things, right? And going well. And then you get into, like, the parts that we have to start relying on our intuition, our prior experience. Um, I don't know about you, but like for me, and a good example, okay, I do jujitsu. Um, I am not good. I am actually pretty terrible, but I'm trying. I've been going for, I don't know, I think it's been 8 months, 7 months I've been training. Still a white belt, obviously, and you know, but here's the deal. I have learned, and I've always kind of known this about myself, but it's like the first time I've really stayed in something like physical like this. Um, I can watch people do the techniques. They can explain it to me. I can read them. I can try to go through segmented portions, and um, mind and body don't always meet up. And I don't know what I'm doing out there, but I'm doing something, right? And I keep doing over drilling. Uh, and still, I'm sure people are looking. These fools are looking at me like, hasn't that old lady been here for like ever? You know? Um, and still fumbling over the same drills over. And then one day, one sweet, beautiful Tuesday, afternoon, something clicks and it just starts flowing, and I'm flowing, and I'm not doing it like robotically, like I'm on the YouTubes here watching somebody figuring out how to do it, and you're doing it just like that. You start to really know yourself, how your body needs to do it, right? You're doing the technique, but you're doing it in your own way. You're making it your own. But it takes time. It takes dedication. It takes a widening understanding, um, continuous learning, experience, all the things, experience, all this, right? In varied contexts and situations, and different variables and all of that, right? And then we start to just begin to understand, like really understand something, to know something, like we might know ourselves, right? And so to get to that point, sometimes it comes really quickly, right? Sometimes you find something, you're like, dude, I'm so like, I'm a baller at this. I'm so good. And maybe you're really not. I don't know. Maybe we perceive ourselves to be. It feels more natural, right? And here comes that plane again, right over by me. My guy. You had to come right over me. Of all the miles and miles of fields, I'm going to wave to this. Hi. Hello. Thank you. It's a cool plane, though. I wish I could show it to you. But then I'd I would mess up my shot here. I would shoot up my shot. So anyways, I feel like you are in that place in between, okay? You are in the new, You are in the learning, having time with, getting to know. You're taking a little bit of a blow though, right? Because you thought, or you told, or you boasted, or you fronted, or whatever. Listen, we all be fronting sometimes, okay? That's all right, baby. You know what I mean? Like, it's all right. Sometimes we have to gas ourselves up. And that's all right. That's okay. But, we also will get the humbling. It's what mother does, right? This is what mother does. She humbles us. She says, okay, all right, then show me. Tell me what this is about. Explain this to me, you know, in your words, in how you would do it. Show me you know, right? Sometimes we just, we don't know. We don't know. I thought I knew, but I did not know, right? So then we get on, either we get back on the horse. I You just love mixed metaphors like all day long, fragmented over here. Like who's the dude? Picasso, that fool? Uh, yes, with just little fragments of concepts, metaphor, all of the things, right? Just putting them together. Thank you for being here. I love you. So we have somebody, right, who has seen that you have struggled a little bit, maybe, right? This is somebody who I think cares for you, at least. Maybe it's somebody at work. Maybe it is a family member, a good friend. Maybe this is like a social situation. They're coming to your aid in some way, uh, but not overtly. This is not somebody that like helps and does the thing and they have like the fun. Let's take a selfie while I help you. Can I film this so I can post me helping you? You know what I mean? Um, no, this is a person that comes in, sets the deal up, and you make the shot, right? They pass you the ball, you make the shot. Now, I'm not saying they're doing all the work, but this is like what we would call your partner. Now, I don't mean romantic necessarily, but this is somebody who knows you, knows what you need, but isn't there to like take all the glory. Now, of course, you being who you are, you're not just going to take credit for something, oh, I did all this by myself. I can't believe I accomplished so much by myself. No, you give credit where credit is due. And this is part of why, now it's not the only reason, but part of why you work well together. Now, I think that in this case, you might be saying, uh, well, they let me flounder for a while. Where were they? I've been like trying to get this thing going. They weren't supportive. And now, oh, they're just going to come in and save the day. Stop. Listen, baby, the economy is scary. Oh, hey, what's up? There's a cardinal sitting. What's up, baby? I will come and give you some nuts in a little bit. I'm sorry I didn't have time yesterday. I put some out this morning. And I think that Mr. Blue Jay and his wifey wife came along and got him. So I promise you two, I will bring some nuts out to the front in about 30 minutes. Okay, so anyways, uh, what was I saying? What was I saying? This is a person who can't. Okay, so they didn't let you flounder. Don't get into the stinking thinking of, well, they could have and they should have, and all the conspiracy stuff that we love to do within our own lives. We're looking for a reason, right? The economy sucks. The world is on the brink of absolute chaos. Hopefully not. Hopefully we can jump this timeline. It is just absolutely absurdly absurd everywhere that we look. Okay, except for, right? in our very privatest lives, our interiors, in our inner temples, in our homes, hopefully. To some degree, we can maintain some kind of consistency, some kind of mini little paradise for ourselves, even if it is just a silent moment locked in the bathroom where you can think clearly. You know what I mean? Um, so instead of letting that oppressive ick of a thing that is seeping into all aspects of life, instead of letting that also seep into and rule how we feel, how we treat each other, how we, interact with one another, we, we must push off the urge to divide, okay, to fight with, to, oh, she's setting me up. She's going to make me look bad. He's, he just wants whatever, da 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 da. And maybe some of this is true, and absolutely keep your head on a swivel. Do not, you know, do not for a minute think I'm out here saying be naive and doe eyed to the world. Don't do that. But let's not turn on the people we care about and who care about us. You know what I mean? As honestly a revolutionary act. And I mean that from the bottom of the base chakra. That is crawling on up that ladder, coming forth through that throat, and just speaking to you here with great urgency, right? As an act of defiance, we will not divide from those who honor us and we honor them. Period. I don't care what comes between us. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't mean this for everybody. I'm not a utopic kumbaya type of chick. I think you probably know that about me. I also, I have lived a tough life at times, and have had very scary people around me. So I'm not saying again, just put up with it because the world is coming to an end. Stay because uh, money is going to be real tight for everybody, even more so than it already is. I'm not saying that, but I'm also saying when we have that impulse to go in or to be that super annoyed or that, well, getting set off, investing ourselves in discord among our household or our friends group or our family or our small community or whatever it is, I would say pump the brakes. Please examine it more and decide, like really decide, how am I going to come to this? How am I going to communicate? How am I going to, or if at all, you know. So, as an act of revolution, now, I also feel that there is a time coming up here where there's something that feels like you are dressing up, um, you are gathering, you're gathering objects that you find beautiful, maybe whimsical, um, setting a vibe. Oh, I see my blue jay. I see you, babe. Um, I shouldn't say my blue jay. I'm his human. I was gonna say I'm his blue jay. I'm not. Woo. Um, but there's and now there's a A little tiny. I would need to film out here. There's a woodpecker, a little one of the red cap, I think they're called. Um, he saw me and took off. Uh, it does. It feels almost like it feels like an event, a dinner, a celebration. It feels like it's a place where you are going to bring in your essence, your aesthetic, maybe. Decorating it in a way that feels very meaningful. It's symbolic. There's a lot of, it's very um, intentional. It's very intentional. I find you alive in this. This is like one of your things that really you like to put on, right? You like to make things look and feel, build an atmosphere, like create an experience for other people, right? You're like a guide. You are. That's what it feels like. Um, we have the word CAR, and I want to write that down. CAR. We also have what? Okay, so I'm going to put CAR. Hello, flies, my loves. We have 17, and then we also have 71 over here. So we have 1771. And we'll come back to that. We're getting dry. Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay, so we had the number 2 and 3. That was the first part. 2 and 3. 46 right here. So we have the number 4, 6. We have the name John right here. J-O. It looks like maybe an H and then an N, or maybe this is the N. But it feels very much like John. We have an I, like a seeing eye right here. So John and then an I. I also see we have a heart right over here. We have a heart. 80 fish. 80 fish. My stomach is grumbling. Hungering. I apologize for it being so loud. The southwest looks like a cowboy hat in the mountain range. So we have also, look at this, a bird with an umbrella over top. Have its wings here. The beach. Southwest. You're dreaming of going somewhere. But I feel like, and I hope you don't mind my saying, but I think there's been periods of melancholy. We have here the lobster. Where did I see it earlier? Yeah, I guess it is this one. Lobster and lobster. So to me, it feels like there are just periods of time where you are feeling moved to go and search and seek and feel and breathe the arid lands and go to the water, right? Just being pulled to the water. And there is no place that feels exactly like home, because you are a child of everywhere, a child of everything. And I feel like at times, of course, you're a wanderer. You're a wanderer. Um, it feels like there's, a sense of alienation, loneliness. Maybe even when you come into a situation You do the work, you start to do the work, you settle into a place, you start to build a life, and then um, when you get it going, it stops feeling like anything, because for you, a lot of it is about, and this kind of makes sense to me why you would take something on, being, I know how to do this, I know what to do, uh, and getting like one or two steps in and then not knowing really what to do. Because I feel like you're a person that you like to seek. You're a person that you're a forager, right? Maybe not the cook, but you like to forage. You like to find things. You like to be out there, exploring the awe. And you might be chasing something as well. And so I feel that this is going to be a time where you're really looking at that, you know, um, deciding maybe, you know, um, if things and, God willing, everything gets better, collectively. It just it like becomes like totally okay again. Um, you know, but it doesn't seem like that's really going to be what is. I don't know. I can't really tell you, honestly. I always, like I say in every time I kind of talk about the state of things, out like in the greater whole, the more, global or among humans or whatever. Um, I can't always tell because I live so rural and it takes a while for us to be super affected, aside from things like supply chain and stuff like that. Um, and also, I live in the Midwest, so people aren't always as directly aggressive or, as outward about their beliefs and things like that. And um, I can't really tell, to be honest, if I am living in a vacuum of information on the internet. I know from my experience in the world that I feel and see a lot of signs, right? But I also, bro, grew up super poor. Here's the other thing. I grew up, I mean, not real, I wasn't really poor, but there's misallocation of funds, right? So might as well have been, right? Um, on the struggle, definitely. Neglected, definitely. And it was the late 80s, 90s, right? In California, Northern California, and sometimes not always, but usually in a at least, majorly populated area. It's Sacramento, right? And so life was HE double hockey sticks for a long, 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 long time, right? And so I don't know. I like look at the world and I'm like, this is bad. It feels bad. It feels like other people are having a really bad time. I at times really am, but I don't know if it's as crazy as I am getting, I'm on the outskirts of society anymore. you know? Uh, so, I always have to bring that up. I have to qualify that fact. But I do feel like something's happening. Um, it's not good or bad necessarily. There's a lot of darkness, right? It's scary. It is a time of great shifting and potential in all directions. So I just feel like it's like, a time where I think a lot of us, I mean, maybe at least people who are in my life, you know, um, especially my weird sider friends. They're people I know through magic and practice and stuff like that. But um, uh, this kind of, we're living on the threshold of, who knows, oblivion maybe, I don't know. But it's really important right now to look at our lives very honestly and say, uh, is this how I'm gonna ride this beast out? You know what I mean? Like, am I in the right situation? Not, and I don't even mean for like survival, dude. I just mean like, am I gonna go out like this? You know what I mean? Like, I always think about, this is terrible, but like passing away like in a public like parking lot situation or something, like you're, you know, at the grocery store and you know, you have like a medical thing or something, and I just think about like I'd have my shoes on, I would be in a place where, you know, and I know none of that matters once you've, but yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like, do I want to be here with my shoes on, you know, as this thing is like fully hitting entropy? Like, do I want to be in a meadow with my shoes off, hanging out, looking at the sky, you know, chilling with the fairies? Um, do I have the right people in my life? And I don't mean like ambiently. Like, listen, we all have to be around people that, you know, that's all I have to say. But who is in your personal life? Who are you spending your time with? Who are you talking to every day? You know what I mean? Like, who are you building with? Who are you exploring and playing with? You know? If you have time, right? If you're not, like, just absolutely worked to the bone, collapsing on the bed. Um, if you're lucky, right, at the end of the day, and sleeping and then getting up and doing it again. Like, a lot of, you know, a lot of us are in that role as well. We're just trying to eke it out here. All this other stuff is a lot of privilege to even be thinking about, for real. And, yeah, I don't know, but it is a time where I think a lot of us are like, yo, are these the people that I'm going to, ride with, you know, as she flings us off of her like a bunch of little fleas. You know what I'm saying? As they earth, um, you know, says, "Hey now, hey now." So we got a lot to think about. We got a lot of blessings, you know, some fears, anxieties, maybe some coping mechanisms, behaviors, things that you don't love about yourself, or maybe you do. Maybe these are things that have always kind of kept your life going and kept, you know, your abilities and your deepest desires. What was that thing that people always used to say, that like that word that was like super, I almost feel like it was a meme or something, but Wanderlust. Remember when that was like, I'm old. That feels like old internets now. I can't even remember when that was. Was that like in the like 2000, I'm going to guess 16, 15, somewhere in there where that was popping? Wanderlust. This, I now all my algorithms are gonna be showing me that stuff. But yeah, just like a soul that is on the wind, you know. Um, and maybe it's just time to like lean into it, man. You know. Um, I hope so. I don't know. These birds though, they're all hanging out here watching me. They're in the trees watching. They said, "Lady, come on, get me my nuts. Put them out on the porch." All right. Yeah, I think that's it. I felt like I had something else to kind of ramble and go on about. Um, I'd like to hear from you guys if you want to talk in the comments. I know I'm so bad at emails and stuff. I have emails from 6 months ago that I have half written, And not out of like, it's just, I don't care, you're not a priority. It's just, I don't know always what to say. And I do. I've been writing a lot. Um, Again, just to cope, right? Because it feels like I can't not be writing recently. I don't know. It's like stretching my body. You know what I mean? Like, once you get into the habit of stretching, you just, like, I can't imagine a day where I'm not stretching out, at least getting stretched out, right? Same with writing recently. It may not always be like that, but uh, and I'm doing the work. I'm looking for that. I call it the original virtue. Like, I'm looking for that thing that is just after initial utterance, right? It's like going back in um, the strand of impressions tied to the words, through the symbols, through um, the pictographs, and um, finding that that vibration, that um, thing of Enoch, Orpheus, of the great unknown, the abyss, you know. And I'm trying. I'm going through doors and hallways and doors and hallways and staircases and doors and basements and hallways and windows and gardens. So many gardens. So many gardens. We're going to find it. You and I.